Good afternoon, everyone. Bread riots in Sudan. Prices doubled. People angry. We want to change the government because food prices. Let's see what happens in the United States as the food stamp shutdown begins February 1st. Tens of millions will be cut off from their primary food source money. We saw what happened in the past just a single day after in the United States. So 38 million people will be affected. 12% are going to follow in the herd mentality. 10% at the minimum are going to be persuading the crowds to take action. Hungry people behave strangely, fearful people as well. And as a government, I would also want to know with these food shortages just on the horizon how the population would react. We have a very clean timeline from 2021 through 2032 with food insecurity globally. I would definitely want to know how the population is going to react when they don't have food. And during these uncertain times, I've teamed up with Patriot Supply long-term food storage, a nice affordable starter kit, 2-week food supply, 1,500 calories per day, breakfast, lunch, and dinners, plus the 4-gallon storage containers included in that. This is a good first step in getting more self-sufficient. And if you click through the Prepare with ADAPT 2030 page in Patriot Supply, you can get this starter kit for $75. Please remember there's a limit of 2 per household in this special offer. Now, if you haven't been following what's happening in Sudan, soaring bread prices, doubling of the cost of bread, or just complete shortages. They cannot find it even if they have the money. It's resulting in a full-on revolution. They're talking about changing of the government, etc. The bread revolution in Sudan. Something interesting, all related to food pricing as we're going to experience globally over the next decade. The same thing here. People are not able to withdraw their salaries out of the ATMs. Economic collapse. And this could happen anywhere on the planet at any time. Stepping over to the Department of Agriculture. If the EBT cards run out and the payments are no longer processed due to the shutdown in the government starting February 1st, well, things are definitely going to change in America. And the numbers show at least 38 million people could be cut off from their food stamps. Now, I believe others are going to try to step in and help at the moment if the government can't provide the necessary arrangements, but there's always going to be a percentage of the population that will demand action, will take action, and stir others to action. Now, we have a really head-on train wreck collision happening here. Trump refuses to step away from the wall funding. Staunch. The whole campaign was run on this. Immigration policy. He's not backing down one iota. Don't even consider it. This is a make all or take all break here. Schumer and the Democrats also make or break. They will not even step back 1/5 of 1/8 of an inch away from any funding to the wall. So it's going to go down to the head-to-head, and they're going to use the American people to decide what happens. This is truly the largest game of chicken ever seen in politics. This is going to divide the nation, and a side will be chosen, guaranteed. We're going to see how history will play out on this one. But the government shutdown of the EBT cards, we've seen this once before. Not pleasant. And when they say tens of millions of Americans are yelling or screaming about having their food stamp benefits cut off, that's an understatement. Hungry people are hungry, but scared people knowing there'll be no more money for months are going to be even extra scared, extra angry, extra virulent about their actions. This is a single day. This image here was one day after the EBT cards were cut off last time. One day, and this is what happens. Imagine 2 weeks, a month, 2 months into it. How do you think it's going to play out? Now, the EBT cards is kind of a general overview of these different programs all under one single umbrella. But they do go into the article and break it down into SNAP and a few others here with the women children programs, the food distribution for Native American Indians. So which programs are really going to be cut? The Commodity Supplemental Food Program, this is for those that are over 60 years old. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, otherwise known as SNAP, this is mainly just general food assistance for everybody that's not earning enough money in the United States, considered below the poverty level or at some level that's needing government assistance to stay alive. Now, the Women and Infants Children Program is something different. This is, babies need different nutritional requirements. So they might get some special consideration due to the infants. The food distribution program on Indian reservations, again, this covers the entire gamut of Native American populations that need food assistance. This is where the psychological operation begins. There'll be a certain amount of the population that is going to take action. And there'll be a certain amount that follows what the other provocateurs do. So they've broken these down into personality matrix here. I've linked everything below. There's 16 different types of personalities, but I'm focusing just on these 3 here. You got the supporters. What they do is they direct their energy outward and they follow as a pack herd mentality. That's about 12% of the population in general. So if you have 38 million people, you can expect at least 12% of them to have that herd mentality of following. Now the persuaders, these are people that have the strength and the ability to get others into action and motivation around their platform, their ideas. 10% of that, we're still looking at almost 4 million of these types of people here that are going to motivate the others. Then the last group that's outward energy flow are the overseers. Expect them to join the supporters. So that's 25% of the population that's just going to follow what the persuaders at a little over 10% of the population. So in total, that's 35% of those 38 million people that are going to go to action state. And I love this meme here. Sorry for what I said when I was hungry, but that is so true. Angry people behave differently. And we've all been around this where you're with friends and they get hungry and they say stuff and snap out and do kind of crazy things when they're super hungry. But as soon as they get food, they're like, ooh, oh, I'm sorry I said that. So out of 38 million people, how many of them need to get hungry to the state where they're like, oh, I'm so angry right now before they take action? And what kind of problem will this cause for the government? What kind of police response will be needed? What kind of military response will be needed to control this segment of the population causing trouble, rioting, etc. if the food cards are cut off? Now again, as a government, I would definitely want to know heading into this grand solar minimum with the forecast here, we still have available food, but this would be a good kind of dry run to see how the populace will behave. Forecast is very clear. We're heading into absolute global famine and extreme food insecurity from 2028 to 2032. That's almost no food grown on this planet during those 4 years. But in the run-up to that point, 2021 is the first years that we experience massive crop losses across the planet where your food will double and triple in price. And from that point forward, it's just going to be down, economic downturn, global food yields down. And this will result in never-ending food prices through the next decade or so. So this is the very beginning. And who wants to know this information? So in my personal opinion, this is nothing more than a psychological operation to see how the people are going to react. Now, is it on purpose? Is this just a wild coincidence that they now have a chance to get a crystal ball gauge to see how the populace will react to food shortages? Because it's here. 2021 is when we do not have enough food on the planet to feed everybody, and those with the most economic resources will still continue to eat, while the poorest of the population of the world will not. 2021 through 2028 is the beginning of the food shortages, and from 2028 to 2032, you're on your own unless you're prepared. Lastly, Deagle.com, people always reference this list of country forecasts to 2025. Now, why is it in the United States the population drops from 326 million to less than 100 million? And what is it about the GDP with an 18 times decrease? Along with population. Incredible numbers coming out of Deagle. I linked everything below. I encourage you to check out the numbers. And once you start to put 2 and 2 together, something ominous is on the horizon, and people are preparing for it and trying to get the information on how this is going to unfold. Thanks for watching. Hope you got something out of the video. More information like this on my tri-weekly podcast, Mini Ice Age Conversations. You can sign up for the newsletter. Go to oilseedcrops.org. The sign up box will pop up. Scroll your mouse around for about 10 seconds. You're going to need to double opt in to get that. And please remember to subscribe to the channel. You might have to subscribe 2 or 3 times because the magic of YouTube, somehow people just disappear.